I don't know what it is these days with people making things complicated. I watched, in the name of it, Cloud Atlas. Have you seen that film? Jesus. Don't know what's going on. You have to take notes whilst you're watching it. There's nothing relaxing about watching it. I think we've got more intelligent, but we're just making our lives more difficult. Years ago, people were quite happy watching a black and white film with no speaking. You know, it was all like silent movies. Dead easy to follow. Now, you watch Cloud Atlas, tell me if you know what's going on. I watched it all because you kind of think, well, it might all make sense in a minute. About 2 hours long, I didn't have a clue by the end. I don't know what had just gone on. Whereas this, nice easy read, no big words in it, I write the way I speak, which is, I think that's the way it should be. So you know it's coming from me. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can tell you.
I mean, maybe I'd murder a person. You know, just say, you know, I don't know, but I think I'd probably go mental. Because I've always been a very reserved person, you know, I've never got into a fight, I've never caused a rumpus.
Yeah, but that's a worrying thought, because we don't have to have the end of the world for it to be the end of your world, because a lot of people know that they're terminally ill, so they don't go around smashing up bars and killing people.
But I suppose I know there'll be no repercussions ultimately, because
they're going
the
to
next
die anyway.
day everyone's gone, so
Yeah,
there's not going to be mourning families.
But then how dare you deprive that person of his last 8 hours or 10 hours of life?
I don't care, because it's the last day on Earth.
Well, that's true.
I know the moral guilt that I'll feel is over in a few hours.
Morality isn't relative just to repercussion, is it? Because
no, but the point is
you can do things without repercussion. But often people say, you know, what would you do if you never got caught, or would you do it if, you know, there is repercussions for that person, as grave as they might be, just because you feel that it's no big deal either way, that they're only going to live another 8 hours, they might feel differently. And you're saying, well, you won't care because you won't be around. But then, why do people care about their loved ones when they won't be around? Why do people get a will ready?
Because my point is that they know that those people will continue to live for an indeterminate amount of time.
So you do care about the other person's feelings?
Of course I do. Oh, no, of course I do. But my point is, knowing that everyone is going to be wiped off the face of the earth the following day, all of those repercussions are no longer quite the same.
I'd find it hard to divorce myself from my morality that's ingrained just because it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, I honestly, to me, it seems that we're approaching just the end of all things, and so I'm saying that there's something about the fact that we're all going to end that somehow seems very liberating.
What would you do?
I've always wanted to kick a duck up the arse.
Do you know Anne Frank?
That's all I know about Anne. There's no point pretending here
Anne!
that I know stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, tell us everything you know about Anne Frank.
She was in a cupboard.
Yeah, what else?
If she didn't do that, I wouldn't know about her, seriously. That's all I know about her.
Yeah.
So what did she do?
But how do you think we know about her cupboard because of her book, don't we?
But hang on, what in the bigger scheme of things, why was she in a cupboard?
I don't know.
Right.
I honestly don't know.
You don't know anything else about Anne Frank beyond the fact that, to quote you, she was in a cupboard?
Well, what's she done then? You tell me, why should I know more about her?
Firstly, I don't think she was in a cupboard.
She wasn't in a cupboard. She was in an attic.
Alright.
Yeah.
So what was she doing?
She was hiding from the Nazis. She was hiding from the Nazis.
But isn't that the first place they'd look? Sort of work from the top down.
Oh, they weren't specifically looking for Anne Frank.
They weren't going, where is she?
Where's Frank?
If she gets that book out, we are in the deep shit. We've got to stop the book. Imagine, oh God.
But
Just
anyway.
imagine if he was in charge. We did put him in charge of the country.
Terrifying.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Let him run the country.
Just for a week.
Or the mayor. What would you do if you were the president or the Lord Mayor of London or the
Prime Minister Carl.
I wouldn't do it like he's going to be offered it. It's a hypothetical question, Carl.
No, but Suzanne was, alright, my missus, if you're a new listener.
You keep her, sure.
Yeah, help her.
She was watching the news, trying to follow some heavy stuff. And I'm like,
The weather? What?
You know what I mean? I just was like bored, and I was reading about that mouse that had an ear on its back and stuff like that. So she said, well, you take notice of this. She'll be, you know what Ricky and Steve are like. They try to teach you stuff, and you don't even want to learn. So to try and get me interested in it, she was like saying, what would you do if you're president and stuff?
Yeah.
And I can't be doing with any of it.
What did you come up with? You must
What would
have.
your slogan be?
What did you come up with? Did you come up with anything?
I had a little, the design of it, right? I said I'd have like red and blue, sort of, do you know what I mean? Both sort of major sides into one.
Well, that's broken the back of it. That's a pretty good manifesto so far. Anything else? What's on the second page?
I had like, KP looks after me.
That would be the badges, would it?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm a KP nut.
Yeah. KP looks after me.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's about as far as I went with it.
What would you do? What about, policies, transport, crime, just law and order?
Yeah, what would you deal with crime? What would your initial approach be? Would you introduce guns? Should police carry guns?
Nah.
No.
Yeah. Would I have to worry about that?
Okay. No, good point. Good point.
No, what I'm saying is that, I mean, Tony Blair isn't sorting everything out, is he?
No, but he has a say in most things.
Does he? Well, go on then. What are the problems at the moment? I need sorting out.
Well, generally, what's the best way to combat? Would you bolster up the prison system? Would you introduce more community service? Would
you go harsher for say I don't know drugs? Would you go harsher or less harsh? There's pros and cons of both, isn't it? Because of course you can't see to condone it, but some people, you don't want to go through the court system and cost taxpayers thousands of pounds of money for someone, I don't know, the difference between smoking a spliff and dealing crack. Do you know what I mean? You have to all these things. Have I lost you?
Yeah, I'd just think about it for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
You think about it for a bit.
Yeah.
Probably ask Suzanne. Do you know what I mean?
This is amazing.
Get her help on it.
Yeah.
What about the foreign situation? Would you have supported Bush in his war on terrorism? You're aware of this war that we had recently?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if I was new, though, couldn't I just say, look, new slate, do you know what I mean? Let's start again.
Yeah,
right.
Of course you can.
I'm in charge now, let's see if we can sort this out.
What would you do then?
Then see what happens.
Brilliant.
Suck it and see.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
This is excellent.
Now, this is not really your jurisdiction. This is not really your area, but I imagine you'd have some powerful friends. You might have a say in it.
Go on.
Yeah. Would you? What would you do about single-sex marriages, same-sex marriages?
See, this Cameron. I thought Cameron had blown it on Big Brother because they said, what do you think about gay fellas getting married? And he went, oh no, in the Bible it says, a man and a woman. And I thought, oh, he's put off a lot of. Yeah. I don't really think many Christians tune into Big Brother, but we know the gays love it. Yeah. They love Big Brother, don't they? The gays.
Yeah, so interesting. But
what
would your take be on that? Same-sex marriages.
And then what? Having a kid?
Well, just let's start off with, you know.
That's all right, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Just let them get on with it. If it's not affecting anyone else.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. But it starts getting tricky.
Right.
When you get a kid.
Okay.
Go on. Why?
Well, it's just tricky, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you could be right. I'm not giving anything. I mean, we're not. There's no right or wrong
it's
answer.
All right if you were in if you lived in the jungle, right, with no one else,
yeah.
Right, and you just had these two fellas, right,
yeah.
looking after you, but because you got no one else looking in on that, saying, "Oh, you're a bit weird, aren't you?"
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? But
right.
as soon as you come,
why have they got married? Do you think the gay people turned to a bloke because they couldn't get a woman? If there's two fellas go away and they're in the jungle, they go, we're definitely not going to find a woman here. We might as well bum. That's not how homosexuality starts. People don't.
It makes you wonder.
No, it does make you wonder. Gays don't go, well, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen a woman I fancy yet. I'll try a bit of knob.
No. But what I'm saying is, right, if you're brought up in like a little jungle, right?
Yeah. How are you brought up?
Someone just puts you there.
I don't know what this is about.
Steve, I can't be bothered
running
the country.
I'm fascinated.
I can't be bothered running the country. Like, I'm too much trouble for you.
KP takes care of me.
Alright, fair enough. What I'm saying is, right, if you're brought up in a jungle,
right,
what
do you mean brought up?
Just let him finish.
What does he mean brought up, though?
Like Tarzan.
You've got to tell me what you mean by brought up. Wolves, chimps. What?
Right, well, there's a good example of what I'm saying to you.
Right.
Right, what I'm saying is, there's a fella, right, he's brought up in the jungle.
Shut up, just let him finish. Let him finish!
There's no women about, he doesn't know about women, he doesn't understand what women are.
Right.
Right? But another fella walks in the scene,
Yeah.
and he gets pally with him.
What does he talk about?
Then they've both got needs.
This scenario is ridiculous. How has he lived? Or do you know what's his reference
I
points?
can't be bothered with this. Honestly, Saturday should be, day off and that, not worrying me about problems.